All right, guys, let's kick off the fantasy flyby with the cover 2 league. Getting very cozy in first place is Jonestown. He got the dub over Got him, Coach, 172-141. Jonestown is definitely the Broad Street bully in this league. This team is ridiculous. 51 points from potential league MVP Jonathan Taylor. I think that might be the first 50 burger we've seen this season. Maybe. I don't know. I don't recall seeing another one off the top of my head, but Jonathan Taylor rushed for 244 yards, 3 TDs, and another 42 receiving yards.
You don't see a walk-off very often, and it happens.
Crazy work.
Yeah.
And second place is the Florida man, getting the win over my 3-year-old son. Sets up my team. The star of the show, another stud running back performance, Jahmyr Gibbs. 40 fantasy points for him, 142 on the ground, 2 TDs. Baker Mayfield also had a day from a fantasy standpoint. That is 31 points from him. In third place is the Black Chuck Norris. He actually fell this week to Spicy Curry, 128-134, but his point total of 1,434 points puts him in front of the 3 other teams that he's tied up with record-wise at 6 and 4. Bringing up the rear, still in 10th place with a record of 1 and 9 is my 3-year-old. Sets up my team. He put up 141, which is not a bad number. Picked up Jacoby Brissett, who put up, I think, 26, which was the highest on his roster, but just not enough to get the win. This league is becoming more and more competitive. I think we're now at 75%, not 75, 70% of the league over 500. So
wow.
Just a few teams under 5. So the blunder of the week goes to the Black Chuck Norris. One misstep cost him his matchup. He didn't play Mac Jones this week.
Oh yeah, another good week
for Mac Jones. Which is actually an understandable choice because he had the Rams last week, right? But he still put up 32 points, and those 32 points were left on the bench. So, all right, on to our older, wiser flagship league. Air it out. Back in first place is the Road Warriors. He got the win over soft hand Adrian, surprise, surprise, in stunning fashion, 153 to only 88. Leading his roster was that Houston Texans defense we just talked about a moment ago. Multiple turnovers and sacks resulted in a nice 27 points for the number 1 defense in the league. Also, a decent showing from Josh Allen, 26 points, and 24 from Drake May. Falling in a second place, yours truly, the Battle Beast. I came up way short this week with a loss to LC's classic 73
Didn't he drop
team.
Like 200 points or something like that?
He did. 143 to 205 he dropped on me. Yes. Now locked in a 3-way tie at 7 and 3, but with the second highest point total in the league, 1,578. And LC's classic team moved himself into third place with that win, and he is also the third team in that 3-way tie. He's also 7 and 3. The star of the show for him, Devon A-Chain, running all over the Buffalo Bills. 174 on the ground, 2 TDs, 42 fantasy points, and a solid 24 from the stout Denver defense. Bringing up the rear this week in 10th place, and now the only team in both leagues without a win is soft hands Adrian. Falling to the Road Warriors this week, putting up less than 100 points with the majority of his roster underperforming, and he had a bunch of players on a bye as well. It is a real possibility that he could be our first offer, but in the words of the Carolina Panthers, keep pounding. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fantasy flyby for this week. Stay locked in, see where you land next week, and